Okay, we're gonna redo this. I just did a 20-minute video and I was playing Norwegian music in the background and it was just overwhelming the whole video. So here we go again, encore performance. Got my Santa Claus here. I got my Norwegian Christmas tree. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got Norwegian flags all over it. Used to have all kinds of Norwegian ornaments too. And I've got some Norwegian Christmas music here. So I don't want it too loud again, so I'm going to turn it down. For those that are from Norway or are familiar with Norwegian traditions, you'll know this one. På lov å sitte nisse med sin juleglød. I love it. I absolutely love it. And, you know, I grew up with this stuff. I was 4.5 when we moved from Norway. And so my first Christmas in Canada, where we moved to, my parents are badasses. They moved across the world to a place they didn't know anybody. They knew one guy that they had met in Norway, and they met him for half a day. We were going to move to Australia. He talked us into moving to this little tiny town in the Canadian prairies up in Alberta, Canada. And I'm glad we did. I loved growing up there. But I thought I'd do a quick little video, quickish, like 10 to 15 minutes, about our Norwegian traditions. And hopefully I've got this at a decent volume now so you can actually hear me and not just the music. But yeah, Norway, I think almost everybody in Norway, and by the way, skål, hoppa alla har en fantastisk jul. Merry Christmas, cheers. I hope everybody has just an awesome Christmas. I got to put this one on. I think everybody will know this one too. Jeg så glad hver julekveld. This is my all-time favorite for Norwegian Christmas songs. We played this many times every Christmas. I used to know all the words. I know most of them still. And I'm so glad hver julekveld. Oh, it's just beautiful. No, don't stop. It just warms my heart. Anyway. Christmas was always celebrated Christmas Eve. And I don't know if everybody in Norway does this, but we would get our stockings on the morning of the 24th. So Christmas Eve day, we would get our stockings. And specifically me and my next two younger brothers, Trond and Leif. I'm Arild, Trond og Leif Magne. I remember so well, because Trond, he still loves Christmas, but he's not into it like he was when he was a kid. He would get up at like 3 in the morning and want us to get our stockings and we could open our Santa present too, julenissen. We would usually wait till about 6, and then we would get up, and it was just this fun day full of anticipation, waiting for Christmas Eve. Because here's what made Christmas Eve so special for me and for my brothers. We ended up having 7 kids in our family. One of my brothers passed away as a baby a long time ago. Don't want to talk about that here because this is a happy video. But our house was full of kids, obviously. There were 5 boys and a girl. The girl was the youngest. And Christmas was a huge deal. I think most Norwegians look at Christmas as the big kahuna of holidays. And it was for us because Christmas Eve would start, well, first my mom would start cooking, and my mom's an amazing cook, and my wife is an amazing cook now. I'm not going to show you the whole house, but our house is so decorated for Christmas. Right behind the camera over here is a Christmas village. There's gnomes going all the way up the stairs, Christmas gnomes. The front room looks like Christmas exploded in there with another tree, and I love it though. I'm a cheese ball for Christmas. Freely admit it. And my mom was the same way, and she was an amazing cook, and she'd start cooking when the risengrøt, which if you're familiar, risengrøt, I say my R's in my throat because I'm from Stavanger, so risengrøt, was the kind of the pre-meal. We'd get a little bowl, not little, but a bowl of risengrøt, and she would put a nut in one of those bowls. And whoever got the nut would get the prize, which was usually something like a chocolate Santa, something a kid would like. And I don't remember ever winning the nut, but I remember one of my brothers, I think it was Trond, won it many times, and I swore it was a conspiracy to this day. But Christmas Eve was amazing. We would sit down, we'd have our ristegryt, and then we usually had pork chops, and the best pork chops I've ever had in my life. To this day, my wife makes them the same way, and they're freaking amazing. That's what we'll be doing this Christmas Eve. We still celebrate most of the Norwegian traditions. We open a couple of gifts Christmas Eve. We also open Christmas morning because my wife's American. And so we kind of do a split Christmas. And I just, there's something about it. Maybe it's just the nostalgia of my childhood and where I was from. And let's see what else we got. Jule. And I'm going to tell you about my favorite Christmas ever. I was 12 years old. It was the Christmas 1975, and my parents took all of us back to Norway. So I was 12, so there would have been 5 of us. So they hauled 5 kids across an ocean to Norway. I was 12, Trond was probably 10, Leif was 9, Eric was 5, and David was just, I don't know, 2 maybe. And we stayed at my grandma's house, Bestemo's house. And Bestemo is grandma in Norwegian. I'm sure most of you know that. If you're watching this video, you probably know some Norwegian stuff. And she lived in a little town above Hjelmeland, not a town, a little place above Hjelmeland, kind of in the hills. Hjelmeland is about an hour outside of Stavanger, which is the 4th biggest city in Norway. That's where I'm from. My mom is from Hjelmeland, actually Espeland, just above Hjelmeland. You had to take the ferry from Stavanger to Tau and then drive about 45 minutes. And that ferry, that was such a treat. You know, we get to buy some Norwegian blues. Blues is soda. Solo, for those that are familiar, that was my favorite pop. It's kind of like a orange tangerine kind of pop, and we get like a Norwegian chocolate, melkechokolade, which is milk chocolate. And Norwegian chocolate is the best in the world. I know the Swiss say they got better. I say Norway. But we spent the Christmas, I mean, we saw all our cousins. My mom has 10 siblings. My dad has 4. We have, I don't know, 50 cousins. We got to play with a lot of them that Christmas. It was amazing. It sticks in my memory, one of the premium memories of my whole life. And it was just amazing. We stayed in my Bestemo's basement, but it wasn't like this dungy basement. It had the big picture windows, and it looked out over the hill, and this hill led down to a creek. It wasn't a big hill, but for a kid, it was big. So Christmas Eve, my Bestemo gave us, me and my 2 next brothers, sleds for Christmas. And I remember going to bed that night after. The nice thing about Christmas Eve is, as kids, we got to stay up as late as we wanted. So after Christmas Eve dinner, we would open our presents, and then we got to stay up as late as we wanted playing with them. I remember getting Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I remember getting Hungry Hippos. I remember the first time we got a video game set up. It was an Atari system. That must have been probably mid-70s, 76, 77, somewhere in there. I was a little bit older, maybe 13. And it had asteroids and this really bad graphic basketball. And, but it was amazing. I think we stayed up till 2, 3 in the morning playing that. And just incredible. And that was the fun thing. So at my grandma's house, Bestemo's house, we got those sleds Christmas Eve. And I remember looking out her window, or the bedroom window that my brothers and I were staying in. And there was snow on the ground, and there was a full moon. I could picture it perfectly in my head. And it was like something out of a dream or a fantasy movie. It just didn't look real. Everything was so bright. I could see the creek at the bottom of the hill, and then it started snowing, and it was just magic. Magic. And we could not wait to get up. At some point, we fell asleep, and we got up, I think, before the sun, and went and started sledding. And it's one of my, like I said, one of my favorite memories of my life. I don't know how my parents afforded to haul 7 people to Norway for 2 weeks, but they did it. They always gave us the best Christmases. We were not a rich family by any means. We weren't, poor, but we were not rich. But I felt like we were. I mean, we had such great Christmases, such great toys. Just an amazing time. Skål. And like I said, we still celebrate most of these Norwegian traditions. We, put the Norwegian flags on our tree. We used to have a whole bunch of Norwegian ornaments. Excuse me. I don't know what happened to those. We're gonna have to dig those up again. And I try really hard to pass these traditions on to my 4 kids, and hopefully my 5 grandkids, soon to be 6 grandkids. We got another one on the way. Woo! So now I'm going to tell you a short story about my worst Christmas, which was still a great Christmas, but my dad had to work on Christmas Eve. He worked at what was called the sugar factory up in Alberta, and they processed sugar beets. He was a welder. That's the first job he got he worked on the shipyards in Norway as a kid all the way into his 20s when we moved. And he had to work Christmas Eve. And so we decided we're gonna do it the Canadian way, the American way. We're gonna celebrate Christmas morning. And I can't even remember Christmas Eve. We must have had a dinner with my mom, but I don't even remember it. But I do remember Christmas morning, getting up, and it was exciting, opening the presents. But once the presents were open, it was kind of like, now what? What do we do now? It just wasn't, the magic wasn't there. And I'm not criticizing those traditions, because if those are your traditions, then they're magic to you. But I was used to my Norwegian traditions. And so when we went back to it the next year, it was amazing. I loved it. If you want to leave some comments about your Norwegian Christmas traditions, because I know different parts of Norway have different traditions, serve different food. By the way, the next day, Christmas Day, my mom would take the risengryt and add cream to it and mix it up, serve it cold with that red sauce on it. I think she used some sort of Kool-Aid sauce, but it was awesome. That was almost as good as the risengryt. And then, of course, we would have a Christmas Day dinner, too. It just wasn't as big a deal as Christmas Eve is for Norwegians. Anyway, håper alle har en helt fantastisk jul, en godt nyttår, og få tid med familien din. I hope everybody has a fantastic Christmas, a fantastic New Year, lots of time with your family, loved ones. I just got home from the road today, December 21st, just a couple hours ago. Been on the road for 2 weeks. I'm usually done in the middle of December, and I take like 3 weeks off. This time I'm off until later in the middle of January, because we're going on a cruise after the holidays. So I got a few weeks that I'm really looking forward to spending time with family and friends. I hope you all get to do that too. If you're digging the videos, give me a thumbs up, a subscription, comments, ideas, suggestions, criticisms. It's cool. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Så till nästa gång, vi snackas igen snart. Till next time, we'll talk again soon. Hoppas alla har det great. God helg. Hope everybody has a good time. Have a great weekend. Peace, love, och god jul.